Greetings, everyone. Welcome to another Brony Debates. I hope you're all doing well out there. Let's get a good start to the weekend. This today is so far kind of rough because we had a plan that we've had for a few weeks now, and but we really needed everybody to be there. But one of the guests got sick, so we had to postpone that topic, which left me scrambling to find something. And then, so here's what happened. I put out on Discord and I put out on Twitter, and I said, listen, bring me your suggestions so I can come up with a topic for tonight. And I got a bunch of suggestions that would be really good if I had time to prepare for them and get the right people on, right? But just, me with who I'm working with tonight, it couldn't do it and make it good. But there's a bunch of other suggestions that I might not be able to pull a full hour out of. So what we're doing there is tonight I got Cruizer joining me. Say hi, Cruizer. How you doing?
Hi, Cruizer. How you doing?
Alrighty then. And then I said to the Discord server, hey, does anybody else want to join? And we got Hariman. How are you doing tonight, Hariman?
I'm doing great.
Nice. And then we got Sasha Lace. It's been a little bit since you've been on the show, sir. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. It's been a little too long since the last time a guest appeared here.
Yeah, but he messaged me randomly while I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off trying to figure this out, going, hey, what's the deal for tonight? And I'm like, we're winging it. He goes, cool, can I come hang out? And I'm like, sure. So we're doing that. If you can't tell, this is not exactly... I don't enjoy improvising like this as much as I do other things. But, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to just do a little bit of Omnibus here. So if you guys are out there watching, you got any sort of question of any kind you want to ask us, lay it out in the chat and we'll make sure we get to it. We got about 45 minutes here, or however long we feel like talking, really, to go over this stuff. But first, let's give a shout out to the generous supporters on Patreon that make the content easier to produce. These, especially those on the $10 and up tier, such as Princess Heather Blossom, Shady Oak Ministries, Sid McConroy, Autoknight, Emerald Spencer, Senko, Kyle Christensen, DJ Skywalker, Rein-Kun, Morningstar, Pony Cordero, QFlash, Billy Henline, Alden MacManx, EasyModeGamer, Kanto Acrylic VA, ZoroArc 720, Mr. Sonic 31, and Dark Malcontent, author of the Metaverse series. Check out all their links in the description. That list is getting really long. Let's see if we can get it even longer. Anyway, yeah, if you want to be on the show, I'd love to have you. We'll get you on the Patreon for as little as $1 a month. There's a bunch of other tiers as well that get you some fun stuff. Let's get into it. So, our first suggestion on Twitter.
But just like Theo from JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, he was in front of me. But
Sasha,
My apologies. I had a little bit of a conundrum there. For
All
some
right.
reason, my audio was being pushed through Discord. I really didn't mean to do that.
Alrighty then. So, first thing we got here, new My Little Pony Generations. This is from Reese Keychain / Dolly at Dreamy Days on Twitter. I should probably have like a window capture open so you guys can see what I'm doing here. Says,
yeah, that'd be great.
Says new MLP Gen similarities with Gen 4 and theories. So I'll stream my application here to Discord so these guys can see what I'm doing. And while we talk about that for a little bit, I'll get it set up on OBS. So, Sasha, have you seen any of G5?
I haven't. I'm just gonna, I guess, be the one to come out and just be honest. I'm not feeling it. To me, it feels like they lost their spark. The movie, I knew the movie was always going to be the better of the two, but I didn't think the show was going to be such a massive downgrade to the point where I don't know.
Oh no, now I'm doing it.
This generation to work out, but I just don't think that it's going to. Not in the way that people wanted it to.
That's and Cruizer, what do you think?
I've watched the movie. I have watched all of the web series episodes. I have watched Make Your Mark, and lost the spark, maybe. But I think the big issue is going to be the fact that they're not doing a weekly release like they did with G4, where we got like an episode every week, every Saturday for for
9 years.
Yeah. In this case, it seems like what they're doing is a G3 styled release where it's kind of just like straight to DVD, or in this case, straight to Netflix on an inconsistent basis. There, people do have a lot of questions, a lot of valid ones too, but because we're not going to get answers on a consistent basis, I think is what's going to be its downfall, or at least what's going to struggle with the very most.
I actually agree with you, mainly on the basis that media consumption as a whole has moved to a scheduled routine. It's very rare for things to come out whenever they want to come out. Usually, and I've seen shows that like make you believe that that's what they do, and then you look into and you find out, oh no, this is all pre-recorded and like months in advance, and they put it out whenever they feel like getting more views. This is not it. I don't know if inconsistent upload schedule is going to really work for this story.
Well, because this is kind of just how I see it. Like I said, there's a lot of questions out there, and people have asked, the bait is on the hook and it's been casted. Like, how did we get this far to where there's modern technology? What happened to Twilight and everything she did? What her friends did? It's all out there, but we're not going to get to it anytime soon because, again, the inconsistency of this release schedule. Plus, when we got Make Your Mark, that was basically a special. That wasn't like some 22-minute episode.
So,
and if you even look at what it says on Netflix, it's listed as a chapter, not an episode.
Well, that's because it's 45 minutes long. So here's the thing. It's definitely, I disagree with the both of you. It's definitely coming out on its own schedule, but that schedule is staggered with the multimedia aspects of this generation, such as the comics and the Tell Your Tale, which are all interwoven with each other, which may or may not turn out to be a mistake. I don't know. I need to read the comics. I tried to sit through Tell Your Tale, and I couldn't. So maybe I need to try again. Hariman, what do you think?
I watched almost none of the Generation 5 stuff, and I've only seen little bits and pieces here. What I did manage to hear was that the reason why the magic got sealed off the way it did was explained in the comics, but the actual events surrounding that got a reaction by many people of a put upon expression and that's stupid.
And it very likely is. So far, I haven't been terribly impressed with the new generation either. But the question was, and let me, remind the audience as well, is right here up at the top from @DreamyDays on Twitter, says new MLP Gen similarities with Gen 4 and the theories. So obviously, one of the similarities is that it is in fact canonically the same universe. So it's a sequel. Some of the physics are still there. Some of the character design is still there, albeit, God, I would not say updated because I don't like the way they're 3D animating it, and I don't like the new, the Flash shorts on YouTube either. They look freaking hideous.
What I would call it is, they updated the design by making it as generic and as appeasing to every possible thing with a heartbeat possible.
It's like that old meme of you got something good and you hit the upgrade button on your keyboard and then it turns into something monstrous and you're hitting the same button, but this time it says frick, go back.
As far as Make Your Mark or Tell Your Tale goes, I will say that the later episodes are actually better. There's actually some very heartfelt moments. Like, the relationship that Zip and Pip have with their mother. There are some very cute moments with them turning into foals. So it does get better.
Alrighty then. Does anybody else want to add or take away anything from this one, or should we move on?
I guess I'll end it with there really aren't many similarities, and my only theories all involve, can we please just bring back Gen 4 and not just completely obliterate it?
Yeah, the quality in writing, I agree, is not there this time.
Yeah, I even said the music for G5 is way too modern. Now, I can't blame them for trying something new after having 10 years of G4, but some of this stuff feels like it was just ripped from a teenager's YouTube channel.
I've seen teenagers make better music than this. It sounds like something you might have gotten out of Coco Melon.
You can't hear it, but I'm internally screaming at the music of teenage music channels sounding better than G5.
I'm gonna scream internally in indie music.
Like, listen. My younger brother had a band when he was a teenager, and they would tear the roof off of places. So, I guess I'm working on a different standard here, but the age of the musician does not determine whether or not it's quality music. The talent of the musician is what determines that. And the effort that they put into it.
Go ahead.
No, I just said, and the talent and the effort that the musician puts into it is what determines the quality of the music. So, I think calling the music in G5 on par with a teenage indie producer is insulting to teenage indie producers.
You've seen what millennials post, dude.
You know what? I got you with a correction. The music in Gen 5 so far feels like somebody wrote a really, really shoddy AI generator to just try to generate music. It doesn't even sound like somebody really put any thought. They just went, okay, what are chords that are familiar to children? What are keys that are like family friendly? Okay, now spit me music now.
The most generic, designed by committee music from the sounds of it. And I also have to state that I do know a guy who's about 20 years old who makes really good music and posts it on YouTube. So I do know that some people who are young, they've already done great things.
Yep. Alrighty then. Shall we move on then?
Mm-hmm. All right.
All right, so next up, sorry, I'm juggling a little bit here. Okay, Kaylee Fur, who's been following me for a long time, says horror in MLP. And I ran that one by Cruizer before the stream, and he said, what horror? And I don't know, that face that Fluttershy made in Scaremaster when Spike startled her, that was a pretty egregious contortion of facial anatomy right there. A lot of the meme faces are pretty horrifying if you get right down to it, but I don't know. What do you guys think?
Discord. Just think about Discord.
Hold on. What were you saying, Hariman?
Just think about what Discord can do. At any moment, your mind can be twisted into something comedic or crazy or weird on his whim. Big Mac went from person to groundhog-like dog personality in a moment. Your glass of milk, you could pick it up and you will drink the glass, and if you drop the milk next to you, it will explode at your feet.
Starlight, Twilight, and Trixie all did some pretty horrifying things with their magic too. Like, I remember, I think it was Too Many Pinkie Pies when Twilight misfired a spell and turned a frog into an orange, but the thing was still alive and like hopped away. And and this is something that Cordero has brought up in the past. Like, if you're a kid, that doesn't register to most kids the same way it would register to someone like us, where as adults we've developed that existential horror that we can then project onto a lot of things. So it's like, oh God, look what she did to that poor frog. But a kid might see that and go, "Ha, that's funny. The frog turned into an orange," and then proceed as the rest of
away.
yeah, and then proceed as the rest of the episode did. Trixie misfired a spell and turned a teacup, but then she turned something into a teacup, but then the teacup sprouted like poodle legs and started hopping and barking around. So we can just randomly bring things to life. Starlight is the one that was truly terrifying, because Starlight...
She was literally mini Hitler?
Yeah, Starlight could take away your free will. She could make you... She could compel you to do literally anything she wanted. She did that she did that to the main six. She did it to Big Macintosh in the same episode. She can take away your ability to do anything you want, anything that, like, she took away people's talent. Imagine that.
This doesn't sound like horror, though.
Just imagine
that is pretty horror.
Just imagine a whole village full of Ed and Night Shyamalan and Ed Sheeran just running around, trying to function.
Yeah, I don't like the sound of that.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, you know what I think is probably the most horrifying thing in MLP that never got explored, and I'm kind of thankful it never did.
Tell me.
But after watching Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, I realized that Twilight is really only just a couple steps removed from being the Scarlet Witch herself.
Well, that's the whole point of characters like Starlight and Sunset and Fizzlepop Berry Twist, is that they all could have been... Twilight could have been all of them, but then Twilight made the right decisions.
Yeah, but you gotta think about it. What happens if you push her far enough and the lines no longer matter? She would be one of the most honest to goodness, most horrifyingly evil villains if she just went full blown. I'm done.
And that's the same thing if Celestia stops caring and becomes Daybreaker. But I've got one that's even more horrifying.
Tell me.
In Our Town, the song, all of the ponies are happily singing the line, "You can't have a nightmare if you never dream." And they mean it.
I will say that was actually one of the few things that actually genuinely creeped out Daniel.
It's literally a cult of personality / arguably a communist cult where everybody is happy to sacrifice everything they are to be a uniform block of nothing.
I see Apple Fritter on Twitter. Thank you, Trenton, for correcting them. No.
We'll get to that one. We'll get to that one soon. So there's other aspects that were kind of horrifying in Friendship is Magic. I mean, the universe itself. You've got things like Tyrek walking around. You've got Chrysalis and an entire army of just like that was really difficult to fight because they just overwhelm you with numbers that can change into anything. The potential for the guerrilla warfare there was astounding, and they should have done more with that. Chrysalis herself was pretty horrifying in the way she talked and thought and even moved around. And when she fought really hard too. She was very powerful. Even in slice of life episodes, you got Cerberus, the literal guardian of
health.
Yeah, exactly. You've got Cerberus. Cerberus got loose for no reason. Town disasters would happen on an almost weekly basis. You go a few miles into the swamp, you got hydras. You go a couple miles in any direction, you're gonna get dragons, manticores, all these poisonous, horrible things, and ponies are on the bottom of the food chain. You might have noticed that they were pretty much smaller. The chimeras, the fire swamps. It's like you get these little towns here and there that are relatively safe, and then you get a couple of big cities. But if you're anywhere in the wilderness and in the universe of Friendship is Magic, you're gonna get freaking eaten.
This is assuming you survive that.
Can I say something now?
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
been wanting to for some time. You're going to have to explain what's going to constitute as horror here, because as someone who indulges in at least horror cinema, we seem to be talking about two different things here.
So you're telling me you can't imagine being in any of these situations and how terrifying that would be?
I would assume they would have some way to adapt to whatever situation they were in.
I mean, this is because the show dictates that. Imagine if the world was just a autonomous world that moved with or without you.
Well,
The world of MLP is not really... Friendship is magic. For all of its attempts to make you think the world is pretty decent and safe, it really isn't that safe at all.
It's
yeah,
not.
It's the
safe
fact
if
that
you
they
stay
could.
in town for
It's
the most part.
I mean, you talk about what crystals can do. Hell, someone can bust through my door right now and shoot me.
yeah, that's the point. That's literally the point I'm making. Is that
And yet, I don't feel the danger of that happening.
right? But when you think about it, it is kind of scary. Is what I'm saying. You know. So I don't know. Have you never been in fear for your life?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not in a situation like that. If anything, it'd be more of a medical reason.
If I Cruiser, if I dumped you, because here's the thing. Our world has, I mean, if we go too far outside of town, we're gonna run into bears and venomous animals, and you know, we're exposed to the elements, which are a lot bigger and a lot stronger than us. Cruiser, if I were to take you and dump you out into the Louisiana Bayou, do you think you'd be able to get back home?
Alive.
Yeah, with no cell phone.
Are we talking like in the swamp, or do I have to make it to just?
Like, no, like the proper
Civilization.
bayou. The bayou. Like, middle of nowhere, the bayou.
I'm talking
Louisiana.
like there is nothing but swamp and wilderness within 100 miles of every direction. Do you think you'd be able to get back?
Maybe.
No. No, you would not. Last I checked, you're not Bear Grylls.
Wasn't that guy a fraud anyway?
No. If anything, he was made to actually dumb down some of the experiences he went through to not encourage people to imitate him. No, dude, like, being out in the bayou is no small feat. Now, imagine if I showed you photos of the bayou, but went out of my way to depict the bayou as though there's these pockets of villages everywhere you walk, and the animals mostly mind their business, and then we actually drop you there, and you realize I sold you a fantasy that doesn't even exist. Pretty sure you would be screaming to the high heavens for somebody to rescue you.
In the bayou, you've got swamplands, you've got gators, snakes, bugs, and a lot of the plants can be poisonous to touch as well, and you got to know which ones you can and cannot touch, and a lot of them look and smell the same. So you got to be very careful there. You can go anywhere, really. You got a similar situation in deserts, but there's no water. You've got a similar situation in mountains, but this time you're dealing with more terrain, and it might be drier, but now you're dealing with you're more likely to run into things like bears, elk, lions, things like that. So that's now you take that. And really where the horror comes from is just imagining yourself in that situation, right? I couldn't take on a griffin, right? Let's say, regardless of whether or not I'm talking about human form or pony form, a griffin is way the heck bigger, way the heck heavier, and has way more natural weapons, right? They've got bears, they've got hydras, which were bigger than any house, and looking to eat anything that they could get. They got chimeras that spit acid and have 3 heads and are sapient and still want to eat you. You know, it's just you imagine yourself. It's the picture of, I'm gonna dump you out in the wilderness and you got to find your way back among the natural dangers that exist, and now multiply that by mythical world with horrifying monsters in it. And
know
that's
what?
that's where the horror of Friendship is Magic comes from.
Okay.
Let me spin you something even more relatable.
Okay, but I
Sunset
just got what
Shimmer
Brony
jumping
meant.
into the portal.
Okay, but I just got what Brony meant.
Yeah.
I get your point now.
Yeah. All right. Let's see here. Do we have anything else we want to say, or should I move on?
Move on.
Okay. So
Yeah.
let's get to the one Sasha was talking about earlier here. Apple Fritter says pineapple on pizza, and Trent, who's in the chat right now, says no, and I agree. No. What else do we think?
The only thing that belongs on pizza is meat.
Some veggies can be on it, but not pineapple.
I don't do veggies.
You
I'm
are a
going-
heathen.
I'm going to commit 90s pizza heresy, and I'm going to say that anchovies are actually not bad on pizza.
Anchovies are not required on pizza, but they do greatly enhance the experience, especially with pepperoni and olives.
I hate olives,
Yeah.
but I'll substitute peppers and onions.
All right. The furthest I'll go to saying putting like pineapple on such a delicacy of the Italian gods. I've had a pizza place like way years ago, like family owned. They would cook like when they would oven bake it, they would put like pineapple slices and orange slices on it and then take it off when it was done cooking. Like they had it like on a little bracket to kind of just infuse flavor. But you weren't eating it, you still got, your normal stuff. That I'll tolerate, but I don't know. Pineapple, I love drinking pineapple juice. I like it in like, alcoholic beverages, but on a pizza, I'm sorry, it don't work.
Problem with pineapple is it just permeates everything, and it changes the texture of the crust, so it's just not the same.
What does belong on pizza is Spam.
I
can
have
have that
doubts.
pizza.
I have doubts, but I'd be willing to try it.
I mean, I'd be willing to try it, but like, look, I'm an adult, but I feel like I need another more responsible adult. Brony, please save me.
What am I gonna do for you? I just said we're gonna go brave the uncharted wilderness here and try the Spam on the pizza.
You'd have to bribe me to try Spam.
Look,
on
I'll
pizza.
try it, but if it's not good, then you have to burn it with fire.
All right. I mean, the responsible adult thing to do really would be like, oh frick, this doesn't taste as good as I would like it to taste. You just scrape off the ingredient you don't want.
Yeah, but
Burn
typically
it
anything you
with
put
fire.
on a pizza permeates the crust and sauce and everything, and you can't escape it, even if you scrape it off.
Sasha, what were you gonna say?
Just burn it with fire.
Alrighty then.
That's your solution to everything.
Here's the thing.
No, not always.
More people need to get on the anchovies bandwagon. I'm sick of being the last of my kind. And I know Hariman said that he likes anchovies as well. And that's good. It's very rare I meet a fellow anchovy brother, right? But here's...
Anchovies aren't my favorite, but they grew on me after I tried them.
Mhm.
See, I've never had anchovies on a pizza, but I'm pretty sure I wouldn't even like blink an eye. It's anchovies; they're not bad. But, like, there's a limit.
What I've heard recommended is that with anchovies, they're best when you balance them with like peppers, onions, maybe olives, so that it's not just the anchovy flavor.
Yeah, you definitely
And you have a
you definitely want the pepperoni, you definitely want the olives, maybe even mushrooms if you're feeling adventurous. You gotta be careful though, because otherwise you start piling too much stuff on the pizza, and then it just becomes a hodgepodge, and it's difficult to hold on to.
You know what? Let's just have a margarita pizza and keep it simple, then.
You know what I really like? I really like the DiGiorno's Supreme Pizza, and that is pepperoni, sausage, green bell peppers, and I think onions.
Can testify, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I think that's really great. I haven't had one in a while though, because Heather can't do peppers on her pizza, so we just skip that one. But if I ever get a chance to have a pizza by myself again, I will. I would definitely. That would be one of the things I'd. Or if I got the money to burn, I'd call a place and be like, "Listen, get me your anchovies." Yeah, I feel like I'd call the place like Ron Swanson. Listen, I want all the anchovies and pepperoni you have. Now, hang on a second. I bet you think you just heard me say I want a lot of anchovies and pepperoni. I said, no. I said I want all the anchovies and pepperoni you have.
Do you understand?
Yeah, do you understand? Alrighty then. But yes, pineapple does not go on pizza. I've had pineapple on pizza once. And here's the thing, it wasn't horrible, but I was also literally starving. So maybe
that's the best way to try anything.
So maybe
hunger is the best spice.
Maybe my my opinion was a little bit compromised there, but it's like I was eating it and I'm like, this isn't the worst. This isn't the worst thing I've ever had, but I'd never order it for myself. It's just fruit does not go on pizza. Pizza is for vegetables, cheese, and meat. And even
if
then,
you don't like vegetables, meat.
Yeah, and even that. Well, you should always eat your vegetables. You need that. You need the fiber.
What you actually do is you take fried pineapple and you make a layer out of it. And then you carefully put fruit on top of that after it cools with icing so that it becomes pineapple fruit icing pizza.
If you want to be crazy, here's what I would let you do. You could make a pizza shaped dessert, right, with little bits of fruit on it and call it pizza,
dessert pizza.
Right? And in that case, pineapple might be acceptable, but is there such thing as a dessert pizza? If it's not crust, sauce, cheese, toppings, then is it pizza?
The question is, do we care? Because the whole reason is to have fruit, icing, and dessert.
I got you with a better one. Is pizza a sandwich?
No, it is not a sandwich, you buffoon.
Yes, it is. When you fold it in half and you have bread at the top and bottom now, what do you call that?
That's called a calzone, you bohemian.
A calzone is just a fancier way of saying sandwich.
No, because it's enclosed, okay? Sandwich. Also, when you fold a piece, when you fold a piece of pizza in half, when you fold a slice of pizza in half, it's not two slices of bread on top of each other. It's the same slice of bread. It's still a slice of pizza.
Okay, so are you gonna tell me that two pieces of bread from the same loaf aren't just from the same loaf?
They're
because
two.
That's what I'm basically.
They
are not
separate pieces.
They are fragmentations of the same thing. So fold in your pizza slice in half.
You have this entirely.
Thing.
You could argue that a slice of pizza that isn't folded is an open-faced sandwich.
That is actually pretty accurate.
No, that's a hot dog. Why are you guys so bad at this?
You have it entirely backwards.
Here's a better question. Is cereal soup?
Poor man's soup.
Sandwiches are a poor imitation of pizzas and calzones.
That I think I can get behind.
You guys are all so wrong. Okay, let's move. Let's move on.
That's rich.
Let's take a look here. Trent says Tarek versus Bowser, who would win? And I probably meant Fury Bowser. So I have no idea what Trent is talking about. I'm not a nerd. I don't play video games.
Bowser's Fury is like a random game mode that Nintendo just put out there for Super Mario Odyssey, where you're like trying to take down like Bowser, but he like is OP and angry.
I'm 50-50 on that. If Tarek gets the drop on him and gets some kind of like giant mushroom or something where he can equal Fury Bowser, he can absorb Fury Bowser's power. But if Fury Bowser has the initiative in any way, it's just wham, wham, wham. Lifts hand, wham, and just smashes Tarek like a
Bowser has literally fought from the dead as a skeleton, so
I think he survived being dropped into a sun too.
multiple times. So yeah, I kind of think it would not be Tarek. I mean, Tarek is kind of not kind of. I'm just gonna be honest. Tarek was mid and dog water at the same time.
It would come down to a battle of wits. Who's
Oh,
smarter?
Tarek is an idiot.
Tarek isn't exactly that bright either. He pulled a basic level bait and switch on Discord, but that doesn't mean he's, terribly high in that stat. Discord, for all of his cunning, had a stream of gullible moments as well. So,
yeah, Discord has a blind spot where Betrayal is. Ironically, considering he's the trickster.
Yeah. It was weird. He had this period of time where he doesn't understand friendship, and that's why he has all these problems. He didn't have that weakness until Fluttershy introduced him to friendship.
Well, there's a book series that called Trust, the condition necessary for betrayal. Granted, that was from a race of genetically engineered monsters, but when Discord gained trust in friendship, he didn't understand what true friendship was and what the difference between an offer of friendship and a con.
Yep.
So my little Discord.
So let me switch windows here a little bit. We're moving on to the Discord suggestions that we got. The first one, when I said, "Hey everyone, I need suggestions for tonight's debate stream," Archer, who's been on the show once before, said, "We need which is worse, Legion or NCR?" So what do you guys think about that? Who is worse, Legion or NCR?
What's NCR?
New California Republic. It's from Fallout 4.
I don't play Fallout, so I can't say.
The Legion is kind of pseudo-Roman and includes slavery and women being used as primarily for the next generations. So I'm gonna go.
And crucifixions.
I mean, okay, I understand that, but don't forget that as the player, you can actually reason with the leader of the Legion and actually point out to him how wrong a lot of what they do is. You can't really do that with the NCR. I mean, you can with the NCR, but it's nowhere near as easy as it is with the Legion.
So for those of us who aren't nerds and don't play video games, what's the difference between Legion and NCR? So we've talked about what Legion is. What's the New California Republic?
So New California Republic is essentially a super totalitarian and authoritarian dictatorship pretending to be a republic. They really are only a republic in name only. And they don't like dissenters. So convincing someone like that they're wrong is not really, it's a fool's errand. Although at the end of the day, who you choose does impact your story, but you can also choose neither technically and just be you both suck, you're both mid, and I don't really want part of this. So it really depends on what you feel yourself is more aligning with. But generally speaking, it would probably be the NCR that a lot of people will choose because the Legion kind of, a lot of people aren't down with what they're down with. And people can kind of tolerate the NCR.
Alrighty then. Moving on here.
Yeah.
Caesar Life. Up at the top there says, how many different species should be utilized in MLP? Can there be too many before the name My Little Pony loses meaning? What do we think about that?
I don't think that really matters.
Well, I see what they mean, because towards the end of MLP, they started introducing other creatures, but I'm pretty sure that had something to do with the political climate of the time, and quite frankly, is still going on to some extent. I can see what they mean. It's called My Little Pony. If you're doing it based on dragons, then you should be just making a whole other show.
I think at the point where the titular creature becomes a minority, then it would lose meaning. So if there was... Now, if you compiled every character from every other race, you still would come nowhere near the number of... I mean, you might get... Actually, you would get close or be on par with the number of main and side characters of the cast of ponies.
Yeah.
So if at any point you got a show called My Little Pony, and it focuses entirely on Spike, like we get a whole season of just Spike during the dragon migration from season 2, where he's just out there and just we got a whole season of no ponies. It's just Spike and other dragons. At that point, the name Pony might lose some weight a little bit, in my opinion.
That would end up being an entirely different side story where it's set in the universe, but it's Spike's story or Spike's journey or something. The Fellowship of the Spike.
The Fellowship of the Spike. Oh, God.
I apologize.
Lord
I
of the
regret
Spike.
nothing.
The Dragon Code. All right, moving on. Malcontent says, has Hasbro written off the Brony community in general, as G5 storyline and overall complexity feels far inferior and more juvenile than G4? Have we been forsaken? I think we've been forsaken since the middle of season 1. Like that. I think Hasbro wanted nothing to do with the Brony fandom aside from the Brony fandom's money.
They clearly did. I mean, otherwise I wouldn't have tried to copyright the name.
I think
Well,
that's the
Hasbro
money,
wanted
though.
To
And you have to understand, too, that as a company, you are legally obligated to do things like that, or else you forfeit the ownership of the intellectual property.
Hold on, Hariman's been trying to say something. What's up?
Sorry.
No problem. I think Hasbro has tried to pull Generation 5 back to the core audience because they're afraid of taking My Little Pony too far beyond the kids show for like, girls and now other kids that it began as, where it would become like, I don't know what to compare it to, where a show just like started for one audience but just completely jumped into another audience and never came back.
Well, I don't know about the never came back part. There's definitely a lot of kids out there.
I don't think it really didn't come back, but I mean, they never became the majority. But the truth is, too, like, Hasbro may not like this fact, but you kind of have to chase the money. And if you want the kids' money, you have to go through the parents to get it.
Which is why Animaniacs is so beloved, because it was entertaining for everybody.
I think G5's biggest problem is going to be that a lot of the bronies have aged enough now that they have their own children. And if they're not happy with the show, what makes you think they're going to let their kids watch it?
True, they'll just show their kids reruns
G4
of Generation 4
and just be done with it. I don't even want to name names, but I have friends in that exact like boat where they watched it without telling their kids and went, "Nah, this is garbage. Let's just put them on G4."
Yeah, that's what I would do.
So they're kind of already setting themselves up to fail here because you kind of have to stick with what works.
But let's not forget too that they're also dealing with a new studio too. They're dealing with Boulder Media.
Well, Boulder Media, isn't that just what DHX rename themselves to?
No, I thought they renamed themselves to Allspark Entertainment.
Allspark. But this other Boulder group, aren't they also an affiliated sister company of Allspark though? I don't really feel like they're new. Like they can be new in the sense of a new name, but I'm pretty positive some of the people from Allspark and DHX are also still involved.
Yeah, but
They got their work cut out for them. At the end of the day, I'm thankful I'm not the one that has to make decisions of that magnitude because I already know it's not going to be fun.
It's really hard to make a sequel series to something that just gained massive popularity.
All you got to do is make it good.
That's
Well,
the biggest thing.
according to Wikipedia, it was founded back in 2000.
Older?
Yeah.
So they're not even new. They've been around the block.
Yeah, for 20 some odd years now.
I can't wait for Generation 6 when they inevitably scrap G5 and go back to G4 and call it G6.
Let's see. In July 2016, it became a subsidiary of Hasbro. Boulder Media opened a second location August 2017 in Dublin on Claremont Road.
Dublin. Interesting.
Oh, for the tax evasion.
Hey, we know though that that the 6th generation is going to focus entirely on the Pegasus ponies. There's not even going to be any unicorns or Earth ponies. You know why that is, right? They told you.
Global warming?
Well, no, it's because they're going to be feeling so fly like a G6.
Honestly.
Bad.
Oh,
Wait. I need to facepalm properly so you can hear it.
if it makes you feel any better, the fact I didn't even not realize that Vanessa Hudgens is Sunny. Oh, good
Yeah,
times,
they
people,
they
good
marketed
times.
that like it was a selling point. What else was Vanessa Hudgens in?
Yeah, let me go to her wiki, and this is not me trying to clap at her, but the last major movie she was in, and I literally mean like legitimately the last one that mattered a damn, was 2008's High School Musical 3 senior year, because I don't remember any of the movies that came after it except for Sucker Punch.
Yeah,
I was going to say, who is Vanessa Hudgens?
Yeah, she was in one of the worst movies of all time, and then her nudes got leaked, and then that was it. And then she's popping up again in My Little Pony.
Because, live action hasn't worked out for her. She's been doing TV for a long time now, Disney and whatnot, because gotta get that paycheck. She did a little bit of Robot Chicken, she did a little bit of stage acting, except it didn't go anywhere. She tried being a musician. It also didn't go anywhere because of the nudes.
Really, just because of the nudes? I mean, other people have had their nudes. Other people have had their nudes leaked and not let it ruin their music career.
Yeah, here's the thing I don't understand. Like, people took it like personal, like it was an insult, and I'm not understanding why. She basically got dropped by everybody when it happened, and I'm like, how is that her fault? She didn't put them online herself for the fun of it.
That's Hollywood. If
Zac Efron went on to become a major hit star.
Yeah, that's Hollywood. If they think you're toxic or declare you toxic, you get dropped like a rock. And then if they think they can either redeem you or use you more and then spit you out again, they will use you for a bit and then leave you a broken, drug-addled brat. If you're lucky.
Yikes.
Yeah. I might think Hollywood is a bit of a cesspit because it kind of is.
Well, you know what? Let's just leave it at that. Hollywood's going to be replaced any day now by indies anyway.
Oh, God. I mean, it's sitting right there on the California wildfires every year, and every year it doesn't go up in flames. Can we just let it go up in flames?
You know what? Just give me a couple of days. I'm gonna douse Hollywood in gasoline. We're just gonna be done with it.
All right. Let's see
Let's
here.
not be cruel to the gasoline.
Charles from the Discord server says, could Hasbro possibly have more places to stream their intellectual properties? And I ask, that might raise a broader question of streaming services. Now, here's my opinion on streaming services. There's too many, and there's too many exclusives. So what you end up doing is, because all these things are exclusive, you have to pay HBO, Netflix, Disney, ESPN,
Crunchyroll,
Crunchyroll,
Hulu,
Hulu. Yeah,
HBO Max.
I said HBO. Cinemax has it. NBC has it. CNN had it for like a month. Screw them and everything and everyone who stands with them. But they got all this, and you end up paying. You're paying $100 again. We were paying $100 for cable, and then they got the nerve to put ads on there anyway. After running.
Hulu.
Yeah, we talked.
The way to get around the monthly charges is, instead of buying all of them and keeping up with everything at once, you rotate between 2 per month. And since there's like 20 or 30 of them, you just spend a couple years, and each month you go through a different backlog of each service. And that way you only spend like 15, 20 bucks a month at most.
Oh,
and you still get everything eventually.
You can just get on a VPN and go to howtowatchfreemovies.org and just not pay any of them. Since if they're not going to keep it fair, they can all just not get paid.
I think the IP laws need to get reworked, because if you're going to have all these streaming services, but all their content is exclusive, well, that creates a monopoly on all that content. So, and we definitely have antitrust laws. They just got to get applied to streaming services to bring back competition, because you can't compete like this.
The reason why this even became a problem is actually because there's this thing called negotiations for the license that happens every 5 to 10 years. So for example, The Office is on Netflix for 5 years. It's time to renegotiate, aka they got to sign up again, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the reason why shows keep moving around and leaving is because the holder of the rights will go, I know I asked you for 15 million 5 years ago. I want 50 million now. Am I getting? Oh, that's fine. Am I getting a 4K remaster? No. Just the same shit. So you want me to give you 1,000% more for the exact same content? Yes. Get out.
Yeah.
That's basically Netflix at this point. If you even have the balls to go up to them and go, we're gonna renegotiate for more, they are literally just throwing out shows, and people keep getting mad at Netflix. But it's like, okay, which one do you want? Do you want Netflix to cost $100 a month, but no show ever leaves Netflix? Or $20 a month and Netflix slowly replaces what leaves with its own original content until people get the hint that you can't just keep raising the price without offering anything?
Well, it's not just that.
Pretty much why streaming sucks.
They're raising the price, and they're taking away things that they had before for no reason. Things that don't cost them anything. And then they make all these other stupid business decisions and bleed money, and then they push that onto the consumer by raising the prices. But that's not the point there. So until the point I'm making is that monopoly, right? So we got to do something about the monopoly of this content on all these different streaming platforms. So until we start reworking the IP laws, that you can't, to a point where you can't just have exclusives, you actually have to compete with each other. And until the streaming services themselves get more reasonable with the way that they do business, as in not raising it, $2 every year and putting ads on it, and not hosting shows like Cuties, then piracy is highly encouraged in this dojo. I don't give a frick. Come at me.
Don't remind me about Cuties again. That was awful.
Honestly, I think there's just too much content in general.
Well, that's
People
true.
were saying there's too much content like 30, 40 years ago when they were only making a fraction
of what
of the
we see
content they
now.
are now. You
I-
you literally could never keep up with the amount of television shows and movies and stuff.
I would
I
rather
think back
have too
then-
much. I would rather have too much content. That way,
And speaking on the subject of exclusives, the exclusives are how they compete with each other because it's look at my new shows, they're even better, or look at this set of studios movies that I've got that you're going to want. Buy our service.
yeah,
And
but
my
you're
bigger
not.
problem
You're not really
my
competing.
bigger
then.
problem is the fact that the studios are just becoming these like 2 or 3 blocks of you either are indie or you're either indie, one of the second biggest 2, or Disney. And Disney, I honestly think should have been broken up about a decade ago because they own so much, it's stupid.
Well,
The
I mean,
Alien
Disney's
Queen-
at the point where even splitting them might actually spell the end of the company because they have interwoven everything so tightly to decompile Disney apart would actually probably be at least a 2-decade deal.
Good. Let it burn.
Oh no, I'm not
Yeah.
saying this to like defend them. I mean, like for reference to people out there, they recently managed to make the state of Florida angry enough that they withdrew Disney's tax benefit. Disney literally had the balls to say, "We'll take our park and build it elsewhere." Florida simply went, "I know
Okay.
you okay, but we already know you're not going to
well-
do that. So let me know when you're signing the check for my taxes you owe me now."
Yeah, we call that. That's called
could I-
calling the bluff. What's up, Hariman?
Could I give a primer on that? So what happened in Florida with the whole Disney situation is Disney stuck its you-know-what where it didn't belong and said, we are going into politics. We are going to change what is happening in Florida with money, and we are going to support the bill that everybody actually loves, but we don't like. So middle fingers to everybody. And what Florida did was they took away the super special, nobody else has it, special development zone status that Disney has, where
Self-governing.
they follow no rules that any other company has. They could build their own nuke plant where they have control under the deal they had before it was taken away recently.
Yeah.
And the big thing is Disney can refile for a new one, but once they refile, they have to follow all the laws and pay everything and do everything that all the other studios and all the other theme parks have to do. Like all the other 6 big parks down here in Florida, they've had to operate under the regular rules, but Disney threw a bunch of money. They lied about how they were buying the property because they used shell companies to pretend they were not buying it, but it actually turned out Disney was buying it. So they ripped off everybody they bought it from, and they got their special deal. And all that's happening is they're having to play by everybody else's rules instead of their own special mouse rules.
Yeah, they
Or
should
I
have. They should have never
say
had. They should have
rat
never had those
rules.
exemptions in the first place. They destroyed. They destroyed so much. That like Florida.
Irreparably so.
Florida used to be Hollywood East, and Disney was a part of that. But because of the way Disney acted, it's all the other production studios left, and it became very difficult for people like me to find a job. And then, of course, Disney drove down all the wages of the skilled workers in the film and audiovisual industry. So now you got people that need to know everything, and
In
they're
exchange for nothing.
making minimum wage. So yeah, Disney is one of the most evil freaking things to ever exist, and I want it to die. I will be so much happier.
Well, I mean, honestly, they're already on their way to becoming irrelevant because, frankly, I just think that the U.S. needs to revisit Disney as a corporation, and we got to start with the simple one. The mouse has got to become public property. I don't care anymore. It's been so long. Too bad. Didn't care. Didn't ask. Plus, you're Disney.
I almost
don't want to hear it.
I almost don't care about that. I kind of care about it, but I care a lot more about just the amount of.
Start with that. I know, but
I
you
care,
gotta start with with everything.
I care more, Sasha. I care more about enforcing actual antitrust laws. Nobody should own some hundreds of different media companies and publishing and just everything multimedia. They shouldn't own that much. We do have laws that say you can't own that much, and here they are just having 10 times as much as they should be allowed to have. Disney needs to get hit with enforcement on our antitrust laws, just like a lot of other big companies out there right now. I'm going to say it outright. Amazon, Google, and Facebook all need to, or Meta, or whatever the frick we're calling it now, all need to get, need to be on the proper end of enforcement. And there needs to be lawsuits that basically say, hey, just because you're technically operating as a private entity doesn't mean you get to violate the Bill of Rights and take away people's right to privacy and take away people's right to speech. And it gets me so freaking steamed up. I'm sorry, guys. Let's move.
That should have been the
It's
debate.
actually just applying the laws that exist the way they were written.
That is literally what I just said.
Yeah,
Maybe
nothing
that's,
new needs passed. It's proper enforcement. And yes, you did say that.
maybe that should be the next Brony debates. Is Disney sucks?
It's not a debate though, because nobody disagrees with me.
It's not even that they suck. It's that they suck as a company. The content they make is fine enough, but as a company, it just doesn't work anymore.
No, I think they suck.
They've become the embodiment of everything that they claim to not like. And maybe at one point that was true, but that is so far removed now that I can't even think of the time when they were even halfway decent as a company.
They've literally never been good as a company.
Well, yeah,
they at least,
Walt Disney.
They at least were producing quality material like 10, 20, especially like 30 to 40 years ago. But even that, the quality of the product they're putting out is so much more inconsistent and just Star Wars sequels.
I don't think it was ever good. It was like I've seen a good number of Disney movies. They were never good. Even what we call the Disney Renaissance, and everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, they revolutionized animation." Maybe they did. Maybe they look pretty. The stories suck. Everything else sucks.
Well, Disney cribbed off of public domain stories and made their definitive versions of them, and then started suing people who made versions that they thought were too close.
But yet the mouse can't go public, huh?
Oh, has anybody heard of The Thief and the Cobbler?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's literally like a 30-year passion project of a man and of one of the best animators in the business. And he ran out of money like a year or two before the end of it. Disney bought it from him, ripped it apart, and retitled it, added unnecessary narration. They literally deleted segments that were completed to where we can't get those back, or they're just stuck in the Disney vault. And then a couple years later, if you compare The Thief and the Cobbler and the movie Aladdin, you can see just how much they took and Disneyfied from The Thief and the Cobbler to make Aladdin.
All right.
Because Jafar and Genie are obviously splitting the character TikTok. Yum Yum became Jasmine. Sultan is a distracted idiot instead of a horny idiot.
Well, that's all beside the point. We know. We gotta
smash the rat moment.
Yeah, we gotta move on here.
Moving on.
Yeah, so let's see. What else did we have? Anything in Discord? It doesn't look like it. Carol Kirkpatrick says, I ship Silver Quill and the best pink pony ever. Who is the best pink pony ever?
Cadence.
Yes. Silver Quill
yeah.
and well, no, we don't ship Cadence because Cadence is married. We don't ship Pinkie Pie because Pinkie Pie is married. So who's left? Berry Punch.
Cherry Berry.
Yeah, Cherry Berry is pink. Yeah, we can ship Silver Quill and Cherry Berry. Let's see here.
Paladin Pony says it's time for America to break.
Let's get to that. We've got a few ahead of him. Let's see here. Chuck Zone says taco or pizza.
Depends from where.
Pizza, but I won't object to tacos.
I don't like tacos. I like burritos.
Tomato.
Burritos are good too.
They're not the same. Burritos are wraps. Tacos have those stupid hard shells that crumble when you try to bite them, and you got to turn them to the side in order to eat them, and it just spills everywhere. Or you can try to go headlong on them, but they're still gonna shatter all over the place and spill everywhere. And tacos aren't
Soft
good.
shell tacos. That's the only solution to that is soft shell tacos. Which at that point you might as well go burrito.
Yeah, and soft shell tacos are just inferior burritos. Just give me an enchilada. I like enchiladas. Let's see here. Doug's Film and TV says, here's my topic. Stories based off of other TV shows. Is MLP stories based off of other TV shows and movies? I have no idea what he means by that. Does anybody have any idea?
Nope.
All right. Paladin Pony T says, magical items that we wish were real for everyday use. Sasha, what do you think about that one?
Magical items for everyday use? Why not? I guess it's time to be lazy.
Yeah, which one would you want, though? We're just going to say from across all fiction.
I would want something that would be a repair spell on command.
I think I just take the Cloak of Invisibility, honestly.
I'll just take the ability to fly.
Oh yeah.
Well, magical item, not magical power.
Yeah, what magical item is giving you that power?
Winged boots.
Wings, there you go.
This one's going over Cruiser's head.
Okay, no, God, learn my sarcasm, bitch.
Get better sarcasm.
Give me Sonic's shoes. That's what I want.
Okay.
I want to run faster.
Those are just durable shoes. They would never wear out.
I mean,
okay, that would actually be nice.
That'll be convenient, but you'll never run as fast.
Yeah. Sonic is the one that runs fast. The shoes don't really give him the power.
But in Sonic Adventures, I think he actually got like faster shoes. You have to find them like in an elevator.
You know what? Let me fix that for you. Just take Shadow the Hedgehog's skates.
There you go.
Oh yeah.
You can kind of fly with them, and you can rollerblade magnetically really fast.
Alrighty then. What would
I'll
I
take
do?
my award now.
I think I want the Time Stone. I either want the Time Stone or the Alicorn Amulet.
You know what? Screw it. Let's just go for the Infinity Gauntlet. The whole shebang.
What would you do with the Infinity Gauntlet?
What does it even do?
Easy. Wipe Disney.
That's the thing about the Infinity Gauntlet. It does literally anything. If you have all the stones.
It kind of kills you.
Because like I have watched like maybe 4 MCU movies, so I have no idea what it does.
It's literally infinite power.
Yeah, it's literally power over everything. But the downside of it is if you're not of some kind of super tough race, or you're not ancient or something that already had the ability to control it, it will kill you. So you get like 2 snaps out of it in the MCU. In the comic version, it didn't kill you, but what happened to Thanos in the original version is he subconsciously doubted his worthiness to have such power. So the power of the Infinity Gauntlet picked up on that and actually sabotaged him so he wouldn't be able to keep it.
Well, there's also the fact that there's the other incarnation of Thanos who didn't have the confidence issue, who managed to make Peter Parker mad enough to almost kill him.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, he taunted Peter repeatedly by slowly killing off the people that he cared about every time he would do the snap. He would selectively, target Peter. He showed up one
Wow.
day with like the B-listers, and he goes to monologue at him like he constantly kept doing. Spider-Man just walks right up to him, literally walks up to him mid-speech, and just starts laying the hands with no holding. He beat him into a crater so deep, it took the remaining B-lister and D-lister heroes to pull him off Thanos because he had literally bruised them beyond recognition. In fact, he even dented the gauntlet. So he leans in, grabs the arm with the gauntlet, and breaks his arm by just pulling the gauntlet off like if it was nothing. Puts it on and then just looks him in the eye and goes, you're right. This is over. And then just, bye-bye. Be gone.
Wow.
The Infinity Gauntlet is literally no joke. It is quite literally, as Star Wars would do it, infinite power.
Slight misquote there.
Power.
Unlimited power.
Unlimited memes.
But you don't become corrupted by it. That's the best part. It's just that you have to live with the guilt of everything you do wrong.
Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely.
But the fun part of that is
Knowledge is
the guy who made that saying later in his life revised it to say that absolute power reveals the character of whoever has it. So he acknowledged that there are actually people that you could give infinite power to, and they would actually use it responsibly.
Something that's always been my philosophy. I always thought the power corrupts thing to be a bit of a misnomer. I didn't know that the man who coined the phrase himself
revised it.
I didn't know he had the same sort of train of thought there. So that's pretty cool. Let's see, what else do we got here?
Could I bring one up?
You know what?
Sure, go for it, Hariman.
The subject I suggested, which you might want to leave for a full debate, was the value of endings in any type of media, be it a video game, movie, series, where how a good ending can rescue a seemingly bad series by tying everything together well, or a bad ending can ruin an otherwise fantastic movie.
I would need to find someone who disagrees, because I think the same way, and I don't know anybody who disagrees. So I think endings are pretty much everything.
The ending is pretty much I was gonna say the end all be all, but that would be really punny. But like, your end is your goal. If you can't end it in a way that's good, it doesn't matter how great your story was. It'll only be remembered for the fact that it ended on the worst note possible. And sometimes even a really good ending still can't rescue a bad movie or a bad story altogether.
But the reason why I brought up endings is because Brony thinks the ending to Samurai Jack is bad. I say he's wrong.
Well, you're very welcome to be. It's America. It's a free country. You can be wrong all you want.
Yeah, look. I love you, Harry, but like, you're part of the 1% of the wrong side of the coin.
Explain your position, Hariman.
Yeah, please.
So, with the ending for Samurai Jack, I will freely acknowledge it's flawed. The last 2 episodes are far too rushed. There should have been at least 3, maybe even 4 episodes total for that. But Genndy Tartakovsky said 2 episodes for the finale, that's all. So it's not perfect. I'm never going to claim it's perfect. But Samurai Jack is a samurai. He's a wandering Ronin. Essentially the Japanese cowboy. Ronin, samurais, and cowboys, 99.9% repeating of the time, never get happiness, they never win, the villain is never defeated, they don't get back what they lost, and they pretty much might beat the bad guy, but they're still a broken wanderer, or a wanderer who's slightly less broken, or they just outright get killed.
So you're trying to say it's good because they repeated a formula that
That's all this time.
No. Samurai Jack, by the end of the last scene of the series, when he's looking out on the forest of cherry trees that had previously been destroyed, and the little ladybug lands on his hand, and he looks out and sees that that forest is back, he realizes that he won. That even though he lost Ashi, he's got his family back. He's got his kingdom back. He has everything back that he wanted to get back from the beginning of the series. And even though his heart is broken because he lost Ashi, he won. And samurai never win. And he knows that. And he's going to be happy even if he lives the rest of his life pining for Ashi.
So basically, he got the Thanos ending. You know, I achieved it, but at what cost? Everything. That's. There's a reason why no one liked that with Thanos, and there's a reason why it still doesn't work with Samurai Jack.
Here's the thing. Go ahead, Sasha.
I'll give you an example of a samurai story that actually tries to thread that needle without just kidding you with, well, samurai don't win. Thank you for playing. See you next time. Ghost of Tsushima literally tackles the journey of a Ronin becoming a ninja despite the cultural backlash, despite the backlash to his own family. He does everything a ninja would do, but from the mindset of a samurai trying to save his island. And you do it. But people still want you dead. Your uncle still disagrees with you. And you can make one final decision at the very end that I'm not going to spoil, but you get to make one very important choice on how you wish to move on. But either way you go at it, it's still not truly a depressing ending. Because at the end of the day, being a samurai doesn't even really mean to win or to lose, but to accomplish a goal, to protect. Samurai were really created to be guards. So the fact that he protected his island, no matter the cost, while preventing the most amount of loss, that makes him one of the most strongest samurai ever. That right there is what I would consider a great cowboy samurai storytelling. When you're not just focusing on the trope. You gotta understand that the trope that the cowboy and the samurai never win, that they only find loss, destruction, and sadness, that was because no one could come up with a better way to end it. And it's just easier to end it where it began.
And what you're doing here is you're saying it's a good ending because it followed a trope that a lot of people didn't really like.
I'm saying it's a good ending because it defies the trope where the bad future should have never been.
Okay, I don't
Jack
think the
should have
trope
never been sent into the future.
I don't think the trope that you're talking about is really as prevalent. Like I usually what happens is the cowboy makes the choice to be alone and ride off into the sunset, right? And the samurai is usually the last one standing after achieving his goal, and maybe all of his friends are gone, but the samurai is like, okay, but they were samurai too, and they died in battle with their honor. Samurai Jack, they gave us, there was a time skip. He came back from the future. He defeated Aku, and there was a whole time skip of them setting up the wedding and inviting all the warriors from around the world, and there were months in between. And then as soon as the vows get done, now the space-time continuum wants to work and make it so Ashi doesn't exist. so it was just bad storytelling, and it was just tropey and depressing for no
All right,
reason, because the rest
so-
of it was dark and gritty like that, and it was perfect right up until the space-time continuum ceased to make no sense, because for no other reason than Tartakovsky wanted an extra dramatic sad moment that didn't fit anywhere in the narrative.
Need to be there.
All right, so my point on the wedding scene in that is I know where Genndy Tartakovsky stole that from, and no, that part of the ending is complete bullshit. It was
That
a really
ruins
bad
the
choice
whole
to have.
ending, though.
Yeah, and that's what we're
That
saying.
literally
It's a
ruins
really
the entire
cheesy,
ending.
stupid part. And my defense of the final scene is, all right, we have that idiotic part with the wedding, but Ashi was going to disappear at some point, and Genndy just did it in the worst way possible. The finale scene, when Jack is depressed and mourning Ashi, and he goes to the forest and realizes that it's the forest he showed Ashi that Aku had destroyed, but it's now restored, and there's life and happiness and joy in the world again, and the dark future that he suffered for literal decades will never happen, and the entire world will never suffer the oppression of Aku for millennia, is the happy ending, where everything he lost in episode 1 when Aku sent him forward in time,
Right, I got you.
is reversed.
I understand. That doesn't change the fact that he did it in the worst possible way, and you even concurred with me that he got to that station in the world. It would have been a simple fix. All you had to do, Mr. Tartakovsky, is not require this extra sappy scene that breaks your own continuity. All you had to do was slay Aku, and then maybe you can have a few seconds of Jack going to Ashi and going, yeah, we did it, and then Ashi disappears in his arms right there, and then he's got to figure out, oh wait, frick, I just killed Aku in the past. She never that timeline never happened. She never existed, right?
Or if the wedding scene had an extra episode of lead up and it showed her struggling and her saying, something's not right, I feel like I'm fading, I think I can resist it though.
No, honestly, if you're gonna ruin your own continuity, the least he could have just done is let him marry his wife and literally leave it at that. It really could have just been left at that, and no one would have complained. Because as far as I know, Tarkovsky, he's been very bitter and upset that people took the ending bad. But it's like, no, you do not get to be in your fifis, you grown man. You chose to end your story in the dumbest way possible. You don't get to say, but that hurts my feelings. Then listen to the people that invested in it.
And if anything, what you just suggested would have made it even worse. And hey, we could have kept Ashi. Alternate timelines are very popular in works of fiction like that. Yeah, they happen all the time. Ashi could have stayed there, and no one would have batted an eye. And if Ashi had disappeared right away, people would have been sad, and Tartakovsky would have gotten his moment that he wanted. But it wouldn't have left the whole fandom going, what the frick? You know?
It almost feels like he personally wanted to hurt people, and it's like, as a writer myself, you're failing to be a good storyteller. It shouldn't just be about you wanting to punish your reader, because then what's the point of reading your story?
So if I explain where Genndy Tartakovsky stole that wedding scene, I spoil a different series.
And he stole it.
But yes, that's the other thing.
You're not making a good case for the ending of Samurai Jack being any good here, Hariman.
But my thing is, I'm saying that in spite of the ending, the post-wedding scene of him smiling at the restored forest shows that he has realized that he can move on and he can be happy. And he's got
That's
an entire
great.
lifetime, an entire kingdom. He's got the girl who kissed him from his childhood. And my view is that the ending where Jack will be happy is you never get that with samurai. You never have them winning. You never have them even getting like happy endings with a bittersweet tone. It's almost always thoroughly bittersweet or sad or they die. And Jack, knowing that he can be happy.
He didn't beat the mold, dude. I know that you really like the ending for whatever reason it is, dude, but that's like the people who tried defending Mass Effect 3's terrible ending to the point that they had to rework it, not with 1, 2 DLCs. And even then, they're retconning that now with Mass Effect 4.
Please don't lump me in with them. I do not defend Mass Effect 3's
Then stop
ending,
being
and I
like
think they should
them.
have run-
Then stop acting like them.
Then I need you to you know, like you were just saying, I need you to be like Samurai Jack, look in that forest and go, this could have been better, but it's okay because the show at least
fine.
is good.
It's fine if you like it, Hariman, but you can't sit there and tell us it was good. But you can't sit there and tell us it was good because you're wrong.
I'm separating the awful wedding part from the good finale scene. And it's I have to. Otherwise I will hate the series, and I refuse to do that because I love the
Yes,
last few
welcome
minutes
to
of the
my
ending.
world. It happens. It happens to a lot of freaking things. The ending is everything.
No, Brony, you and I are going to have to come back to this at some point, but we're going to have to play the Samurai Jack video game.
Maybe we will, yeah, because Paladin Pony T says here that there's an ending where the gods bring back. So you're just negating you're just making it worse. Now you're just contriving. Oh God, it just gets worse and worse. Let's see what else we got here.
Hopefully something I can comment on.
Yeah, you should have been watching Samurai Jack. Where the heck were you?
Why would I watch that awful show?
What?
Heresy!
What?
Burn the heretic!
Wow. I thought Hariman was the heretic.
Oh my God, that's egregious.
Okay, let me sum it up to you very simple, Cruiser. You gotta go back to the past, Samurai Jack. If you can't understand that, then how are you a brony? How are you ever a brony if you don't even like Samurai Jack?
I don't know. I never watched it.
Go fix that.
It's worth watching.
Oh my goodness!
You're gonna
bless
binge
your heart.
You better
bless
binge,
your heart.
Cruiser. You better binge that series between now and the next time I see you, because there's gonna be a quiz. Okay?
Quiz? I thought your wedding was gonna be Samurai Jack themed.
No, I'd rather not have my wife fade out of existence in my arms. Thank you very much.
Minus that part. God damn it.
Then what did you say? Samurai Jack themed? No, it's actually going to be Renaissance themed, but whatever. Okay, so
I'm still coming as a Ronin warrior.
Do whatever you want, man.
Ronin.
Okay, so do we have anything else in the chat here? It doesn't look like it. So let's do one more segment real quick tonight. Let's each of us post a topic that we'll argue about for a couple of minutes.
Hold on. You forgot the other thing that Paladin Pony suggested.
What did he say?
America should break.
I do not listen. I know I am
this.
very well aware that another civil war, given the political climate right now, is entirely possible. I don't want any part of that. I want changes to happen. I want them to happen right, and I want them to happen peacefully.
And I want them to happen right meow.
Whether or not people make that allow that to be possible is outside of my control. But we're not going to want. We don't want America to break. We want America to be a land of freedom and opportunity for all people who come and contribute to the society. Okay? That is what we want. That's going to mean something different to different people. Let's not kill each other over it. I don't want to have to freaking kill anybody over it, okay? I don't like killing people. It's not fun. All right, let's see here.
Depends who it is.
Yeah, it's never fun. Okay. All right, so Cruiser, pick a topic for us. Just something off the top of your head. What do you want to argue about tonight?
Should people just stop watching anime?
Yes.
I think people have invested too much time and interest in this stuff. Not to mention, I think it gives them a wrong impression of what Japan is like.
Here's the thing. Anime, most of anime is made by otaku. And otaku are not people. And
I don't know what otaku is.
Okay, so imagine all of the worst parts of Brony, but for Japanese cartoons, right? So
Okay.
it's just flagrant dysfunctional autism. It's like and then they try to tell stories about the human experience, whatever the genre may be. But because they're otaku, it's through the lens. It's like trying to gather the human perspective, the human experience through not even a third person, but like a fourth person, just a completely alien perspective. But then what happens is that people get really invested in that, and then they think that that's how people actually work, and then it becomes this cycle of creating the worst possible freaking content, and then the people watching it and then emulating the worst freaking imaginable content, and then turning around and making more of it.
I think people need to be pickier about what anime they watch and which anime they support, because there's some anime that are just, why does this exist? Why do we have Dragon Maid series where it's some weird harem thing where some guy likes big tails, and that seems to be the only reason it exists?
I think Beyblade's worse.
I don't think you actually watched Dragon Maid, unless you're talking. Are you talking about Kobayashi?
I have not actually watched Dragon Maid.
Then why are you talking about it?
Because it's that off-putting.
Oh my God! First of all, listen.
It's
I've seen
like
Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. You're so wrong. Like I get it. I agree with you to a degree. To the degree that I agree with you, you're right. But it's not about a guy's harem. It's about a dragon posing as a maid, trying to turn the person that she's the woman actually that she's volunteering to be a maid for into a lesbian. That's what it's about. And it's just
that is so much worse.
Exactly. But at least if you're gonna drop a name, at least do it right. At least know what you're talking about. Don't try to comment on things you haven't seen, Hariman. You're smarter than that. You make yourself sound like an idiot. Okay.
I have my moments.
Yeah, you need to.
Wow. Can I just throw an idea in the pot then? Since
tell me.
Dude, I don't know if I really needed to hear a whole discussion about Kobayashi. I mean, it's a good show on its own merit or whatever. Anyway, moving on from that. I got you. When I asked this to a lot of people that are into like superpowers and superheroes and all that jazz, would you be willing? Would you actually be happy having Spider-Man's powers, but you suffer the same kind of losses he takes in terms of friends, family, loved ones?
So
No.
would we take that trade is what you're asking?
Yeah, would you accept the powers knowing that that is the downfall of it?
No.
Absolutely not. I would punch anybody making that offer because of how much I value the friends I have, and I would never want to take something that would make me lose them.
Let me ask this question as a follow-up here. have there ever been any stories where Peter Parker had that option himself? Like, would Peter Parker have wanted the spider powers if he knew what was going to happen as a result of it? I'm sure there's been a...
Yes, he's actually done it.
Yeah?
Accepted it, knowing, actually being knowing and aware of the consequence.
Alrighty
In
then.
the 90s animated series, I think after he was presumed dead, he tried to give up the superpowers until another one of the his rogues gallery started to attack, and he realized that nobody else was available or willing to step up, and he had to put the costume back on. And he did that because he saw no way to for the people to protect themselves, so he stepped up to protect them. And
that's tough.
My problem with Peter Parker is, for as smart as he is, he gets so focused on the enemy in front of him that he ignores what's around him, and he ignores side consequences of fighting around things that, like, some of the enemies, if he like jumped to the side and stayed away from the valuable equipment he's fighting on and swinging around, he could prevent damage, and he could prevent being blamed for that damage. And to a certain extent, Spider-Man creates his own misery. He doesn't tell... Was that a head desk? Or... I keep
It was
hearing
just a mic bump.
Oh, okay.
So
he's refused to tell people around him that he's Spider-Man, so they never know that he's putting himself in danger. When, yeah, if they know, and maybe they could mistakenly reveal it, or it's more danger for them not to know that he's Spider-Man, because if somebody finds out he's Spider-Man and they don't know he's Spider-Man, then, oh, hey, Dr. Octopus is now dating Aunt May to get revenge with him or something. Or Punisher shows up in his living room because he doesn't guess that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, but he figures because of the photos, Peter Parker knows Spider-Man and is having Spider-Man take the photos, and he's selling them, and they're splitting the money.
I mean, to be fair, the Punisher actually likes him.
Yeah. But it's still...
Which is crazy, given how many things he hates.
all right, so Cruiser, would you take Spider-Man's powers?
His powers, sure. Do I want to live in that same world? Probably not.
Yeah, but no, it's not necessarily about living in the same world. You take his powers, but the people that you care about start dying as a result of you having those powers.
Like, you're gonna lose your Uncle Ben, you're gonna lose your Mary Jane. You might not lose the Gwen, but you're gonna lose a lot of equivalents here, whether to death or to, you know, the dark side.
Okay, so we're taking that part of the story with us with the powers.
Mhm.
In that case, probably not.
All right.
Fair.
So let's see here. So who that was Hariman's? Was that Hariman's or Sasha's question?
That was Sasha's, but I kind of led this off with the Samurai Jack one, so...
Okay. Cruiser. What do you...
I already...
What do you want to...
went.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, I'm the one who set up the anime thing.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so I think we are all set then. So let's see here. Yeah, that's just about everything. Well, I hope you guys out there watching enjoyed the stream tonight. Hariman, Cruiser, Sasha, did you guys have fun?
Oh yeah,
I had
It's always a
fun.
blast.
I found out an important fact. Not all anime turn into crappy harem anime. They turn into crappy groomer anime instead.
Yep. And it is not all anime. It's just a lot of them. Like for example,
way
Heather,
too many.
Heather and I just watched Jujutsu Kaisen and enjoyed the heck out of it, and it's got like all of the cool stuff of your typical shonen anime with like none of the stupid tropes that make shonen anime darn near unwatchable. So yeah, I recommend Jujutsu Kaisen. Anyway, I'm glad you guys had fun. Thank you for coming on and helping me, recover this stream tonight. And I hope you all out there watching have fun as well. I hope to see you tomorrow night on Princess Heather Blossom's channel. We're going to be playing some Minecraft. I'm going to be playing some Minecraft with her. I'm not looking forward to that, but everybody wants me there. So we're going 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Princess Heather Blossom's channel for Chaos and Controllers. And then next week on Friday, we're going to be doing another Friday Night Fights. I don't know what the game is yet. We'll figure that out. If you want to be on the show, I'd love to have you. That way you can be on. You can help me pick the debates and help me pick the games that we play. We're just going to get you on the Patreon for as little as $1 a month. There's a lot of other really cool tiers there. I highly recommend checking them out if you want to support me, make the bills easier to pay, and make the content come out faster. I'm very grateful to all my generous supporters, especially those on the $10 and up tier, such as Princess Heather Blossom, Shady Oak Ministry, Sid McConroy, Autoknight, Emerald Spencer, Senko, Kyle Christensen, DJ Skywalker, Rein-Kun, Morningstar, Pony Cordero, QFlash, Billy Henline, Alden MacManx, EasyModeGamer, Cantu Acrylic VA, Zoro Arc 720, Mr. Sonic 31, and Dark Malcontent, author of the Metaverse series. Please make sure to check out all their links in the description. And yes, stay safe out there. God bless and have a wonderful weekend. Everybody say good night.
Take care, everyone. Don't watch
Good
Samurai
night.
Jack.